They would have done better by, trimming down other ways instead of cutting the number of teams. Because unfortunately, this is also going to cut the number of people that come to the stadium.
Correct.
Because to be honest, if Kenya is not going to be playing in Hong Kong, I'm not going to fly to Hong Kong.
No,
that's
true.
Yeah.
If Kenya is not going to be playing in Cape Town, I'm not going to go to Cape Town. So, and the majority of people are not going to go because again, we know what we go for.
Yeah.
So I think there are some things that need to be put in consideration. But again, the counter is always like, oh, how come Argentina comes up and they kick everybody's ass and they don't have a lot of followers? Oh, we always say that Hong Kong is a big one, Cape Town is a big one, but man, LA, the Kenyan vibes, the Kenya corner was rocking and it was very noticeable. Again, a big up applaud to a lot of people that came out from everywhere, all corners of the world. Some people, I thought we will never be able to replicate or beat the Perth crew, but we smoked them. So shout out to everybody that showed up. It was fabulous.
So Konya, would you say that based upon your experience, I know you kind of have alluded to that, but overall, I'm gonna put it out there and say, like, in the last 5 years, do you think that this is one of those that you write home about?
This one is one to put in an envelope and write home and tell them that we made it finally. We are noticeable. People can know our worth, and people know what we can pull and what we can't, and what we can do with numbers that we get.
So what was different about this one?
I think people have been waiting for a while. Considering last year, Kenya was not here. In the last LA Sevens, the previous year, Kenya was not in. So the turnout, there were a few Kenyans who were in the stands, but again, they didn't have anybody to cheer for. They were cheering for other teams, or they were basically just watching rugby. But this year, we just came back with our vibrant Kenya corner that was just, even if we got sent to pitch 2, which was the dump, but we rocked the whole place and everybody knew exactly what we were doing.
Hello.
Yeah, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Loud and clear. This is Georgia. First, I want to say disclaimer, I'm not a promoter. I'm just calling as a rugby fan.
and this is Georgia. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Columbia, Maryland.
Okay.
Mr. George, welcome.
Talk to us, George.
Santani. I just want to say, just as a rugby fan, thank you for all what you guys do. First of all, major FOMO for not turning up in LA this year. It just did not work.
They missed that output of that
Anita
night
and
from the
Jerry,
70s.
you guys are amazing. You have supported rugby throughout. You guys go to tournaments, South America, no matter what, you guys are there. One thing maybe you guys could talk about is just share the experience between the tournaments in Europe and the tournament you saw here in LA. For me, different.
Georgie, unapotea.
Georgie, kwani you have Safaricom?
Unapotea, boss.
Don't move too much in the house. Stand on one leg.
Wacha nitafute bando.
Yeah, maze, tafuta bando.
Tunakusikia
And
sasa.
remember, even you had gone to Europe, so even you tell us.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's completely different. These guys are really, really together. Guys come from like Germany, Belgium, wherever, and they drive. They drive all night just to come for the tournament. Sunday after last match, they drive back because they're working the next morning. And they're super, super friendly. That is just something that I had not noticed when I go to the tournaments here in Stato. So you guys, Anita and Jerry's also been there for all the tournaments I've been. She is thank you guys for that.
Yeah,
Action Rugby is going, it has really changed. It's just been, you can see it on Reddit, guys who have never gone to tournaments, they just turned up once, and they are like, what the heck is going on with this rugby tournament? It has completely changed. So I think there was one mention where they said in Madrid, after the last Madrid tournament, they were asked to produce a fee for like 3 million, which they were quite okay with. But then World Rugby came back and started piling all these expenses and stuff, and they were like, forget it. The rest of Europe pulled out. So rugby without Europe has to come back. So besides that, essentially, guys, and keep on doing what you guys do.
Georgie, before you go, quick question for you. Were you in, was it Paris? Was it Olympics? Did you go for...
No, I was in Paris, the first one before COVID. Before 2020 COVID.
Oh, okay.
Right before COVID,
Not the Olympics, but...
That's why I met like in Anita, all these guys, all these people, they were super nice.
Okay.
Okay. Sawa. Okay.
Sawa,
Now you're
Jojar.
sticky pande. Okay, sawa.
Sawa.
we say we have another caller?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Let's pick up the caller.
Yeah. This is 1940. 1940. Thank you for calling the One Mic Show. Tafasali jitambulishe.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from, please, and talk to us.
Nitaongea na Kiswahili ni Chwea hapa kutoka Norfolk, Virginia.
Atichwea.
Okay, Chwea, talk to us.
Omera Chwea. Okay, Chwea.
Una bicep.
Yeah.
Una bicep.
Okay, sorry.
Chwea, go ahead.
Tunajuana na wengi na tunafika kidogo. So basically what nitasema me, I've played rugby and I stopped playing rugby. I started officiating because I got an injury. But me Kenya neza enlighten people. Let's enlighten people. Change, Chinuachebe anasema changes in every, so change zinakuanga kila time. So World Rugby ingia chairman tangu ingia imekuwa kila time. So yeye anaingia nataka kuchange kila kitu. Unajua political scene back home. So kuna system ina work lakini wewe bado unataka kuchange. Lakini saa hii mimi kuna concern kwa sisi Kenya team. Sisi tulikuwa na chance ya kubaki top 8 kwa series. Tukose hizi hula balu zote. Sasa the first thing kama we coach unafaa kufanya, sisi watu wanaongea format change, wanaongea nini, lakini go to the enda kwa swali ya kwanza. So kwanza nini performance top 8, hizi upuzi zote wacheze huko ndio tujue vitu zina change. Haijalishi ati ni nini, lakini and then nikasikia Bling ni raf. Nikasikia kiongea siku moja akasema sasa naangalia Great Britain, naangalia sijui nini, wana to monitor every second. Kuna Samoa from the first game miss kuenda huko because tangu 2019, lakini leo nilikosa family issues. Lakini uliona game ya kwanza Samoa walikuwa wanacheza kama Fiji wa flood. Sasa hakuna mtu mkubwa anataka kutuingia. Kutoka hapo kama wewe ni coach unaketi chini una hii kitabu unasema hawataki kuingia, mtabeba kama madem tu wetu. Wezi waingia. Watabeba hii ball juu na naomba tuchukue tukimbie tutinge. Akatujua tu kutoka hapo. Ni the same thing USA ilituchezea. Wanachukua hiyo ball na wataki kuweka, wataki kuset marako, wataki kufanya nini. So sisi tukifikiria watu wafanye wameshafanya assignment zetu, so kuchange plan. Bling anafaa kuwa technical enough. Bling wana coaching course, ameshaenda New Zealand for so anafaa kuwa technical enough, anajua hii game plan, sio anajua venye tunacheza to change immediately.
Okay.
Haya, point nyingine nataka kujibu watu.
Haya. Alafu
tutarapa. Bid. So sasa kama sisi kama madirectors walienda ile, mimi nilikuwa nauliza swali kwa Kenya Exas. Nikasema wase walienda huko ile wage sell Safari Sevens. Iko nini dates zimeshatokea, nini imeshatokea. Sasa sisi agenda yetu si tunaenda kudefend kurudi huko, lakini sisi hatusell tona yetu. Si tunaenda dunda.
Good point.
Haya, kitu kingine nataka kuambia watu, hiyo kwa beach tournament ile time ya Paris na Vancouver, mimi nilikuwa na privilege ya kukua kwa ofisi hiyo time. Sisi tulihata Nairobi ilihata juu iko kwa higher altitude na hatuna Nairobi iko beach city. So Mombasa iko na stadium. Place ingine low sea level ilikuwa Naivasha, Kisumu na hii place gani Nyanyuki. So Naivasha, Kisumu na Nyanyuki ilikuwa na stadium standards yenye mtu amesema tugewai, and then labda to invent beach kama, but in as much as sisi fans hatuna hiyo facilities. Sai Talanta, Nyayo, they are not ready to host a tournament for rugby. But and then pia sisi capacity ya accommodation Naivasha, na nini World Rugby hizi tukubali. Place inaweza kubali ni Mombasa peke yake. Mombasa kubali. So in as much as tunasema sisi tuko na mafans but hiyo facility ya iko security yetu sahi tuko kanda ya Somali, watu wengine watasema watakuja, and then kitu pia itatutoa ni ile time ya 2013 yenye tulikuwa na Westgate
yeah.
Team ya NZ moja ilikuwa, team ya the whole team ya England ilikuwa hapo, walitolewa immediately kitu ile happen na wakacheza game hizo next day. Asa wengine walitulia pia wakatolewa. Kuna pia hata maflights, lakini pia sisi security ni issue. Lakini kenye mimi nataka kusema ni in as much as sasa hizi tunasema hii zote, so KRU inafaa kureach kama gawa imeshindwa inajenga talanta, lakini Safaricom, EBL wanaweza kosa kujenga stadium ya rugby standards, and then na venye tu mlisema hata tone wanga Mauritius hiyo pitch inakaa pitch gani? Ni sisi tume na vitu tuone ziko. Otherwise
okay.
Mi napenda OneMic, napenda vitu mnafanya Kepsia. Mimi tuko marefu watatu Kenya, tutaweza kuref mademu wawili na mimi. So kuna chaliwa North Carolina anaweza ref, but for the first time I think it be 3 more than 1 referee in Kepsia. Asanteni sana.
Okay, thank you so much.
Asante sana Choya.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Real quick, Njeri, because I see this theme, like of we can't host,
hey,
coming back
it's
again and again.
It's even triggering me.
Yeah.
You are about to jump through the microphone.
Yeah.
I was hot.
Yeah, because you're in this unique position. You're in the 1%. Umenda Uruguay. You've gone to Munich.
Germany.
You've gone to Krakow, like cities that people did not even know existed. Nobody would have known there's a city called Krakow, but you've been there for these tournaments.
Mosh was just chilling.
But people still are coming up with this thing of Kenya, we can't host because of XYZ.
Maze, I felt like it was I'm not. I hope I don't. But no qualms with you, sir, Choya. But it was probably. I felt like it was one of those old white men with those two funny hats talking,
polo hat,
giving those views. Atuwezi. No. I think even bringing up security. I mean, it was very sad what happened in Westgate. And but I mean, what walikufa and everything. But how many people die out of gun violence here in the US? Why isn't it?
We are safe.
Why aren't we issuing travel advisories and pulling our teams out?
We've not had the worst attacks,
yes.
Compared to what some of these other countries have experienced that are hosting.
Yeah, so I mean, we've had all of those issues. When you talk about capacity at Yatuna Nini, we don't have the altitude for it. Altitude? Now we have gone from no facilities to now altitude.
I think we need to give, hold on, sorry to interrupt. I think what Choya was trying to say was that he was on the inside, in like when these guys come with all these proposals, nini. Na hizi ndio vitu walikuwa nasema.
This is what they're bringing.
Hizi ndio vitu walikuwa nasema. So whether there's water to it or whatever, this is what they were saying. And so hapo kwa story ya altitude, you know, they always say those things that, you know, either Kenyans have an advantage or disadvantage or whatever because umezoea na hii, not talking about that ni talanta ndio inafanya kazi. So I think that's probably where.
But also, let me also add this. NFL. People still play in Denver.
Correct.
It's Mile High.
Correct.
See, but watu cheza
Correct.
Watu cheza bado, yeah.
Correct. No,
Yeah.
so again,
No, I'm with you on that
yes,
one. I'm just saying.
everything comes down to how these guys, and maybe part of it is what Ali has been saying, and you know, it's that it's that
it is
that
it is
thing
it
that
is a
nobody's
racist
really
sport.
talking about.
There's
But
still elements that are
it could
there.
be race because
Yeah.
this is about money at the end of the day,
Right,
right?
so
Do
then-
you want to bring it to Kenya? Or do you want to keep the money somewhere else and maybe a venue in Europe? And you
Right.
say it will start and stop in Africa with SA because was it Zimbabwe that used to be really good?
Zimbabwe used to be really
And
good.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
Zimbabwe were good.
Yeah, I don't
Zimbabwe were
remember them
good.
being part of any circuit. I don't
Yeah.
think they were part of a
Even
circuit.
Namibia.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't remember them. In fact, SA, it's like Nikama Juu alikuwa anasema, it's the white chaps who are playing, so SA can manage.
Yeah.
But what are the African countries?
So then maybe what we should be dealing with is the issue of representation, and who is actually in the boardroom when they're making decisions. Because if you are part of the decision making body, to say if you're in a room like this, and it's only one demographic of people who are making those decisions, then they're able to say to rule out destinations and host nations that could otherwise be excellent for the sport. I mean, we've seen tournaments being played even here in LA. The one I went, it was a raining and cold and miserable, and they still had a tournament. Even in Vegas back in the day,
think about
Vegas used to be
Boyd.
really cold.
Yes. Or the wind would come and gong us in there.
Yes.
And then think about Sam Boyd. Sam Boyd is not a lavish stadium.
No, it's not.
No, it's not a lavish
not.
stadium. So
And it's far. It's in the middle of
It's
nowhere.
in the
of
desert.
Yeah.
It's not in the middle of nowhere. It's in the freaking desert. That thing
Yeah.
is a desert, and you're right. It's cold. In fact, I remember having to buy a jacket for USA Sevens. Like the way Stoons has the one for LA, right? I had to buy a jacket because I got cold, and we came there knowing need to go desert. Then hapo for whatever reason, it's cold.
Yeah.
It's always cold, and the wind inakugonga sana.
Yeah, we have another caller, but before we pick up the caller, Chief Louis says there's a plan for schools rugby to begin hosting national games in Kisumu and Kakamega. Since these days, the rugby giants have shifted from Nairobi. Koyonzo, Butula boys, Musingu, Musiru boys, Kisumu boys, and Kakamega boys have requested to play at Bukungu Stadium in Bungoma rather than travel to Nairobi. If their fields manufacture Akinawekesa, we should be able. If their fields manufacture Akinawekesa, we should be able to host a world-class tournament with a little improvement on the grounds and Harlequins. And then Apa Mukurima says, but remember the games were taken out of some Boyd because some officials said the concerns about safety of players. So these things matter. Mike,
The callers hung up, but I think they're calling back.
It took 10 years. It took 10 years for that safety of players.
Okay, all right.
We were there for a good 10 years.
Yes, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. Just to move on to something slightly different, which had been mentioned earlier. Remember, those chants that were going viral from the stadium, like Ruto must go. And I will categorically say these chants were sporadic. I was there when they started, Mimi Siambiwi.
So you're not defending Joji?
No, I'm not
just
defending
asking for
Joji or
a friend.
anything. No, I'm not defending Joji. I don't know where that story of Joji started, it came from. But those chants were sporadic. Sometimes there were some that were coming from the corner. I remember there were some that came, Ezra Chiloba, LA Consul General, was there. And he was seated hapo chini karibu na kona. There are some people who are seated there right next to him. Some people started those chants from there. And these things, are infectious. They move without people controlling. One thing that I will say on the One Mic Show, because a lot of times people kwa magroups wanaanza kusema, oh, you guys are biased. You guys are this. We are not mainstream media. We give our opinions and we openly share. Most of us here on the panel and that's why I'm putting this disclaimer out. We've never liked Ruto, from before he became president to when he became president. But those chants that were happening, and they've been happening in Kenya everywhere. They've been happening in Kenya everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not like they were new. It's not like they were new here.
Wasn't there an international game between Kenya and was it Gabon?
Well, it was Gabon, I think, at Nyayo Stadium.
And even prior to that.
Yeah. So these things have been happening anywhere. They've been happening at events, and I think that's where it brings in the question: is this justified, or is it going a bit too far? Let's pick up the caller first, and then we're going to have a discussion about it.
Thank you for calling the One Mic Show 0306. Name and where you're calling from 0306.
Welcome to the One Mic Show.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. This is Konya calling all the way from Los Angeles, California.
Why, Joroge?
Hey, Konye, apparently you are not here to defend yourself.
Konye, you are mentioned. Talk to us, Konye.
Talk now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah.
Oh, for real? What happened? Somebody mentioned my name.
They called
you. Just
they
talk.
called you. They called you Konye with a A.
Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah.
sorry. I just don't have the attitude.
Konye twende kazi.
Hey. I just want to say a big shout out to everybody that came out to LA. LA was really, I think, one of the best tournaments so far. Again, after going to all the HSBC circuits.
Mm-hmm.
We always say that Hong Kong is a big one, Cape Town is a big one, but man, LA, the Kenyan vibes, the Kenya corner was rocking, and it was very noticeable. Again, a big up applaud to a lot of people that came out from everywhere, all corners of the world. Some people, I thought we will never be able to replicate or beat the Perth crew, but we smoked them. So shout out to everybody that showed up. It was fabulous.
So Konye, would you say that based upon your experience, I know you kind of have alluded to that, but overall, I'm gonna put it out there and say, like, in the last 5 years, do you think that this is one of those that you write home about?
This one is one to put in an envelope and write home and tell them that we made it finally. We are noticeable. People can know our worth, and people know what we can pull and what we can't, and what we can do with numbers that we get.
So what was different about this one?
I think people have been waiting for a while, considering last year Kenya was not here in the last LA Sevens. The previous year Kenya was not in, so the turnout, there were a few Kenyans who were in the stands, but again they didn't have anybody to cheer for. They were cheering for other teams, or they were basically watching rugby. But this year we just came back with a vibrant Kenya corner that was just, even if we got sent to pitch 2, which was the dump, but we rocked the whole place, and everybody knew exactly what we were doing.
Wow.
But in light of what you just said, in terms of being this, sending, still putting an envelope and sending and saying that we've made it, we seem to the organizers, the powers that be, decided that, at last minute, and we were discussing this before I think you called in, we were discussing how a change was made.
Goalposts shifted.
They were not even shifted.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers were put on a U-Haul and moved to a different location.
Right when you are going to score a goal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know if I don't know. Maybe that's not putting some respect on us and what we bring and valuing us.
Yeah, it's not even like it's appealable. Yani mumeambiwa ni hivyo.
Yeah.
Mutadu.
Yeah.
What are your
thoughts?
Unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate that World Rugby had to do this. I don't know whether into it other than their finances. Again, I talked with some powers that be, like when in Krakow, I was talking to some of those guys, and they do accept that. Again, they've spent some money and they've lost a lot of money in some of the tours. But this was unfortunately not the right thing to do. It was a knee-jerk movement, for lack of better words to say. They would have done better by trimming down other ways instead of cutting the number of teams, because unfortunately this is also going to cut the number of people that come to the stadium.
Correct.
Because to be honest, if Kenya is not going to be playing in Hong Kong, I'm not going to fly to Hong Kong.
No.
That's
You know,
true.
Yeah.
if Kenya is not going to be playing in Cape Town, I'm not going to go to Cape Town. So, and the majority of people are not going to go because, again, we know what we go for.
Yes.
So I think there are some things that need to be put in consideration. But again, the counter is always like, oh, how come Argentina comes up and they kick everybody's ass and they don't have a lot of followers? I'm like, okay, that's them, okay?
Yeah.
But this is a Kenya corner, and this is what we bring to the table.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Konye, based upon how things are now, right? We are in Division 2, blah 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 blah. At what point and or when does the tournament? When do the schedules normally come out, or is that something that they're still holding close to chest and they are not ready to toa the schedules? Because najua wewe
So they
unapanga hiyo nini. Go ahead.
They typically hold everything close to chest until early October or late September. That's when they usually publish the schedule after they have confirmed. Actually, this year was very late because I think the LA was confirmed like really, really late. We knew LA was going to happen, but it was confirmed really late. I think almost at the beginning of the season in December. So I think they usually try and look at the logistics and try and determine. So I think from how their thing looks like, there's going to be a grand finale like they did, and the way they once South Africa won. But in that grand finale, allegedly, is going to involve some of the Division 2 teams and some of the challenger teams to vie for spots up there. How they're going to do that, I don't know.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Call him Konye Wanjoroge. Asante sana.
Yeah.
I did not make it to your place, but
Hey,
next
thank you.
time,
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah,
You need some ugali
just
and,
tell
us.
and
Make it-
nyama choma
Yes,
for
I know,
the
I know.
ages.
Yeah, there was mbuzi and
tunakupatia
kachumbari.
Yeah.
eh?
But
by the way,
Thank you.
Konye, Konye, where did you have caviar, truffles at your place? Because unajua hiyo ndo nasikia that's the new standard that should be.
yes.
Did you have vitu kama hizo caviar,
Jokes.
eh?
Did I have a what?
caviar, truffles,
Did I have a what?
bite of filet mignon?
Konye ask again.
Well,
Did you know what?
let us just say Ali was afraid of you giving him a workout.
Hey,
your view.
by the way,
No. You know, when you come to my house, I'll give you a dose of everything that I have. I have a gym here, and I have food. So I'll feed you, and then I'll get you to work out.
hapo niliogopa because I was like,
Ile
naweza kwenda
session.
huku,
Niliona
and then
session.
I'm forced to go into a workout unwillingly.
No. The workout happens in the morning during rugby days. Again, there are things that you have to put in order.
Okay.
You do your workout early, and then you go for rugby, and then you get it done, and then you do it the following day early in the morning before rugby.
Okay.
So that when you go and chapa sherehe, you already paid your debt up front.
And then after that,
One other thing.
yes,
Yes.
Konye.
Then
No, go
after
ahead,
that,
go
you
ahead.
chapa sherehe until when you cannot chapa sherehe anymore.
Okay. Aya, sawa.
Before Konye goes,
Yes.
for 1 second, I would like to say, as a person that considers Konye a friend,
Yes.
I just have to give it up to Konye. You know, how many people do you know that would open up their house to absolutely everyone? And just welcome them and treat them like family and cook for them and really just give them a great experience. All of the places that we've gone with Konye, those intimate kind of settings with
Yes.
with just that the people that show up is probably one of the highlights that I take home with me every time. And Konye really
And it's not televised, eh?
it's not televised,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and just to open up your house the way you did and cook for us and entertain us and organize things the way you did. Asante sana, my friend.
And
I
with-
consider you a friend.
With
Konye,
all
thank
that
you.
Konye
Thank
does,
you.
this
So
guy
after that-
cooks. Huh? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Man, me, I cook. I do cook. I do cook, and I have friends who can cook.
Yeah.
So when I'm done tired cooking and I'm entertaining guests, my friends always step in and they're able to cook and get us well fed.
Okay, and Stoons wants to say something to Stoons.
Yes.
Oh, well,
yes,
I'll
yes.
just echo Jerry's sentiments. Konye, you know very well, you welcomed the whole crew from Europe, Scotland. We were never out of your home. Thank you.
Okay.
Wanjoroge.
You're welcome.
Konye,
You're
yani we
welcome.
felt
Yay.
we
Yeah.
felt Kim Nadho maze niliona sijui zile ugali na biceps za Joji ziki move left na right na kanyama kanatoka. I had a kefia nini back yani I was having kale kanyama. Unakumbuka kale kanyama? Boss.
Man, I was having there was like a better kanyama here because man, kanyama was nicely done, nicely done.
Replay.
The one last thing. One last thing.
Yes, sir.
I saw here from the grapevine that I disrupted other people's plans for after parties for the players. To put it out there, out and clear. The players know who to trust and know who to hang out with. They have seen me in tours all around the world. I go support them. Sometimes I'm by myself in the stands. So again, the players always come up after every tournament. This is just full disclosure here. Again, I don't have anything to earn. I don't have anything. I'm not trying to look for any merit or anything. After every tournament, I usually take time. I go hang out with the players for several hours. We catch a drink. Again, in a spot where these players can be open to me and tell me what is going on, what is really hurting him, what we can do to improve and such. And again, I'm able to forward this information to the relevant people. Unfortunately, as you may be aware, there's a lot of strife sometimes in KRU. Looking back in the day when the girls were not getting paid, guess who was pushing? We were pushing out there, trying to see if the girls can get paid. Because the girls have our numbers. They were calling us to ask for assistance to pay for rent. So when it comes to the time where you cheer them and to the point where they're able to qualify to a bigger stand, guess who they're going to come and thank? They're going to come and talk to me. They're going to ask me, Konye, unafanya nini leo? And me, I tell them, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to make it happen. So that's what happened. So people who feel like the ball was dropped on their lap, unfortunately, I'm sorry, you just have to earn your way up there. You just cannot just come up and wait until the cake is baked to just start eating. Okay? You have to earn it.
Okay, all right. So you heard it, because there are people up who are asking, you guys are not asking Konye the tough question. So even before we ask the question, Konye has answered you, Roberta Bagayoko Msani. I hope you've gotten your answers. And yeah, we have a very open platform here, but we also want to keep focus on the topic that we have at hand, which is rugby. We have two great guests. I mean, I know there was a lot of information going out on the grapevine. So thank you so much, Konye, for coming in unsolicited and answering this question. You've put this off our back. Asante sana.
I don't want you to wear a coat that does not belong to you. I own this, and I'll take full responsibility for it.
Yeah, and I also hope, Konye, you're not the one who started the Ruto must go chance. Ilikuwa ni wewe?
I don't know whether it was me or it was in our group. I don't remember. Again, it just happened.
It just happened.
But
no, to be honest,
it's something beautiful. Again, honestly, it is just one thing that just happened, and no matter who started, it really does not matter. At the end of the day, again, I'm from back in the day where we used to say Moi must go, okay? And we were tear gassed and all that. And unfortunately, nothing happened on those days. But now, since people have a voice, unlimited voice, nobody can shut people down when they decide to say what they want to say. Again, it's public. Everybody says what they want to say in the public forum. So.
Okay. All right. Asante sana Konye.